So, Matt, I want to ask you about this latest development here. The U.S. and Israel have essentially cut ceasefire talks in Qatar short. What exactly made those talks fall apart the way in which they did, and where does that leave hopes for a ceasefire now?
This was probably a falling out over several main issues, specifically the end of the fighting. The fundamental difference here is that Hamas insists that any ceasefire that involves the release of the hostages will lead to Israel ending its fight in the Gaza Strip and withdrawing completely. The Israelis insist that any deal that would release all the hostages that are remaining, of whom there are thought to be a little less than 24 alive, that any deal like that would mean that Hamas is finished, that they'll have no role in the governance of the Gaza Strip afterwards. So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, there was so much optimism from the Palestinian side, from the Israelis, from the Americans, from the intermediaries, Qatar and Egypt, that there would be some sort of ceasefire deal. This has happened so many, many times before that we've seen high hopes about these deals come crashing down. This was a little different. If you read what Steve Witkoff said, he basically said Hamas has no appetite to come to a ceasefire deal. He also said that the U.S. is now going to have to come up with alternative options to free the remaining hostages. Now, I don't know what he means exactly by that, but it sounds as though he's abandoning ceasefire talks in general. And that would be a very significant development if it turns out to be true. Because like I said, the only real way in which hostages have been released, in which food aid has gotten into the Gaza Strip, has been through these negotiated ceasefires.